It's Friday night. Say yeah, for it's another edition of Strictly Sports NFL Friday. Hello, friends. Anthony Floyer here, alongside Michael Bullock, getting ready for another edition of Strictly Sports NFL Friday, Week 8 edition. Originally, good old MF Michael Fletcher was said he was going to be on our show tonight, but I don't know if he's out with friends or if he ended up getting work commitments beyond his control. I don't know what the story is, but for all intents and purposes, it looks like MF will not be joining us again this evening. In the event that he actually does come in, we'll simply catch him up on what he missed should he show up. But if not, then the Yes Movement will run the show again tonight, just like we did last night for College Football Thursday. But I do apologize for the late start. I was waiting for Bullock to come in. Pretty much like last night with the college football show. But tonight it was for good reason. Game 3 of the World Series going on right now. We got a 5-star Shakespearean drama classic right now. Tied at 1 going into the ninth inning. Red Sox up to bat. And I know Michael Bullock will keep a close eye on that, and he'll break in if anything significant should happen. So keep an eye on that, Bullock, because I have all these tabs to keep an eye on here. So, anywho, while we wait for any updates, let's get into Week 8 of the NFL season. Kicked off last night over at NRG Stadium in Houston, where the Houston Texans defeated the Miami Dolphins by a score of 42-23. Texans have now won 5 in a row. Dolphins have gone on the downward spiral, and I know MF's not. I know if MF were here, he would not be very happy about that. But excuse me a minute. 4 teams on bye this week: the Atlanta Falcons, the Dallas Cowboys, the Los Angeles Chargers, and the Tennessee Titans. All 4 of those teams are on bye this week. So with all that being said, let's dive right on into the action of this week, and we'll start it off with for the second week in a row, a game from Wembley Stadium in London, England, the Cathedral of Soccer, as Derek Ferreira calls it, and a game that almost was the matchup of Super Bowl 52. Your reigning and defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles squaring off against the Jacksonville Jaguars. This game is going to be broadcast on the NFL Network, and I do believe for the first time ever, we're going to have a 4-man announce booth. Yes, you heard me right. 4 men will be on the call for this game. And it's the NFL Game Day crew. Rich Eisen, Michael Irvin, Steve Mariucci, Kurt Warner. I mean, we got four commentators. And on top of that, four commentators and 2 sideline reporters. Peter Schrager and Melissa Stark. So that may be the most loaded crew I've ever seen for a game, maybe ever. Eagles opening up as 3 to 3.5 point favorites. I cannot say I'm surprised by that number. And series history, it favors the Jacksonville Jaguars by a count of 3-2. However, the Eagles have won the last 2 meetings. Their last meeting was 2014 in Philadelphia. Eagles won 34-17. 2010, Philadelphia won in Jacksonville 28-3. And Jaguars last beat the Eagles in 2006 in Philadelphia 13-6. So there's pretty much the history there. So let's dive on into our first matchup of the week. The Jags have been outscored 90-28 over the past 3 weeks, so there's no reason to pick the Jags to win on Sunday. 3 of their top 4 cornerbacks are out because of injury, including A.J. Boyd, and they will have 3 undrafted rookies behind Jalen Ramsey. That is less than ideal against Carson Wentz, Alshon Jeffrey, Nelson Aguilar, and Zach Ertz, and it negates any advantage the Jaguars had from their familiarity with the logistics of the trip to London. The Eagles had a lighter air about them as the week went on, shaking off the sting of a fourth-quarter collapse against the Panthers. Coach Doug Peterson's message: play for 4 quarters. That will be the mindset as they fight to get on track against a Jaguar team that has been dealing with its own issues. Philadelphia, a 62.6% favorite. Blake Bortles will get another start, but he will have to improve on his 18.1 total QBR over the past 3 weeks. second worst among 31 qualified quarterbacks in that span. But Bortles is 3-0 with an 8-1 TD INT ratio and 68 total QBR in London over the past 3 seasons. So maybe this will be a good opportunity for the struggling signal caller. So, but nonetheless, I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles to win this game. My final score 23-13, Philadelphia over Jacksonville. Nothing more to say. Bullock, come on in. This nearly was the matchup in Super Bowl 52, but your Patriots put a kibosh on that. But nonetheless, we're going to get to see the matchup we could have had in Super Bowl 52 this Sunday in London.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, I mean, what the heck is going on with Jacksonville? I mean, after the week 2 beating of the Patriots, I mean, everybody thought that maybe this was the team that was finally going to overtake them in the AFC, but boy, oh boy, how things have fallen. I mean, so bad to the point that Blake Bortles had to be benched. I mean, yeah, I mean that's bad. And the defense, I mean, it just hasn't been the same. And the Eagles, I mean, they're going through some hard times as well. I mean, some people are saying maybe this could be the Super Bowl hangover, but who knows? I mean, but both teams that we thought would definitely be in the playoffs they're going in the wrong direction. But to me, I mean, I do agree with you, Florio. I got to go with the Philadelphia Eagles because right now, I mean, I have no confidence in this Jaguars team with the way they've been playing lately. So I'm going to go 24-17. Eagles beat the Jags. So yeah, there's nothing more to say. Let's move on to the afternoon slate of games.
And we're going to start off with the game that I'm going to personally consider the game of the week on our side of the ledger. The Baltimore Ravens squaring off against the Carolina Panthers at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. This one will be over on CBS with Greg Gumbel, Trent Green, Bruce Arians, and Melanie Collins. Baltimore opening up as a 2.5 to 3 point favorite. Series history favors Carolina 3-2. Just like in the other series, one team won the first 3 and the others won the last 2. And of course, that's the Ravens. The Ravens have won the last 2 meetings in this series, outscoring Carolina 75-23 in those 2 games. 2014 was their last meeting. That was in Baltimore. Ravens won 38-10. Last meeting in Charlotte was 2010. Baltimore pounded Carolina as well, 37-13. Carolina's last win against the Ravens, 2006 in Baltimore, 23-21. And the last time they beat them at home was back in 2002. That was a 10-7 final. And the very first meeting, of course, was in 96. Carolina won that 27-16 in Charlotte. So I believe we have all the schematics here. So Bullock, by default, I would consider this maybe the game of the week over on, the AFC side of the ledger with Baltimore against Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing here, I mean, the Carolina Panthers, they are at home and so far, they are undefeated at home. They are 4-0 at home. They look to make it 5-0 at home against the Ravens, which basically coming off of a crushing loss at the hands of the New Orleans Saints when Justin Tucker missed an extra point. I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, and then with the Panthers, I mean, a lot of momentum on their side when they came back to beat the Philadelphia Eagles to win that game. I mean, it certainly looks like Carolina's a different team. I mean, basically because of Cam Newton with what he's done. He was the one that led that comeback, but he's going to be going up against the Ravens defense who lead the NFL with 27 sacks. But the thing is, he's a pocket passer, and he may scramble to make some big plays. So that's going to be a tough task for this Ravens defense. So to me, I mean, I'll be quite honest. If this game was in Baltimore, I definitely would go with the Ravens here. But because this is in Carolina and they are undefeated at home, I'm going to go with the Carolina Panthers to win this one. 20-17 is going to be my final score. So, Florio, it is yours. And we're in the bottom of the ninth now in Game 3 of the World Series. And look who's in there now. The game two starter, David Price, in relief.
Ooh, that's interesting. Okay, we'll see how that plays out. So
Well,
still
we're
tied
going
at
to
one,
find out
correct?
right here, right now.
Still tied at one, right?
Yeah, it's still tied at one.
Okay. All right. You keep an eye on this. You keep an eye on that and break in if anything significant should happen. So I'll take this for a spin. Joe Flacco should feel at home in Charlotte. He's 3-1 in games at NFC South cities, throwing 10 touchdown passes and one interception, a 123.4 passer rating. Now he faces a Panther defense that has allowed 13 completions that traveled at least 20 yards in the air, third most in the NFL. Baltimore should struggle in the run game against an underrated Carolina defense that held Philadelphia to 58 yards last week. That puts all the pressure on Flacco, and Carolina's front seven is starting to get its pass rush down. Baltimore, a 52% favorite. Ravens lead the NFL in scoring defense, 14.4, total defense, 280.6 yards a game, opponent total QBR, 46, and sacks, 27. In the total QBR era since 2006, no defense has ever led the league in all four of those categories for a season. This is so tough to call. Ugh, I don't know. Um, Bullock, I believe you said you were going with Carolina. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. So you have Carolina winning. Hmm. Should I just go with you, or should I go with the Ravens? You know what? I got to base it off of what I saw last week. Justin Tucker missing his first career extra point in 6 years, and Carolina with that amazing comeback against Philly. I got to go with Carolina. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So Carolina wins. I'll say 21-16. Carolina over Baltimore. Should be a great, great matchup. So now we move on to one of the sleeper matchups of the week. Also on our side of the ledger, we got the New York Jets squaring off against the Chicago Bears from Soldier Field in Chicago. This game will be on CBS. And Bullock, you're not going to believe who's calling this matchup. Hello, friends. Yep, Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson. They will have this Jets-Bears matchup on Sunday. And the Bears opening up as 7.5 to 8-point favorites. Series history favors the Chicago Bears by a count of 8-3. The Bears have won the last 4 meetings in a row against the Jets, including the last one, 2014, in New York. Bears won 27-19. Last meeting in Chicago, it was the day after Christmas, 2010. The Chicago Bears, I believe that was also a snow game as well. And the Bears won a 5-star shootout against the Jets, 38-34. That was a fun game to watch. The Jets have not beaten the Bears since the year 2000. That was at the old Giant Stadium in the Meadowlands, 17-10. And the Jets' last one in Chicago, got to go back to 1997. A 23-15 win for the Jets at Soldier Field that day. So there's the history there. So this is a tough spot for Sam Darnold, who will be without at least 2 key weapons in Quincy Onunwe and Bilal Powell. Darnold, who has a league-high 10 interceptions, will be facing a defense that has 17 takeaways, second in the league. The Jets are also a lousy road team, having lost 9 of their last 11 on the road. Yes, Khalil Mack's right ankle remains an issue, but Chicago's defense still has a clear edge over Darnold. It is tied for first in the NFL with 11 picks. Darnold, on the other hand, is coming off a 3-interception performance last week against the Vikings. The Bears are far from perfect on offense, but as long as they clean up their mistakes on special teams, Chicago's superior overall talent propels them to victory. According to FPI, the Bears are a 76.2% favorite. The best total QBR in the NFL over the past 4 weeks belongs to none other than Mitchell Trubisky, who has an 87.1 QBR over that span. But he might have a tough time keeping that up against a Jet defense that ranks 3rd in the NFL and an opponent total QBR of 49.7 this year. I got the Chicago Bears winning this one. I think they should win this one a little bit easily. I'll say it'll be a 2-score win. I'll say 31-17 Chicago beats the Jets, makes it 5 in a row against the Jets. So nothing more to say. Bullock, come on in. The Bears have won 4 in a row against Gang Green. Do I hear 5?
Yes, I mean I think it's going to end up being 5 in a row. I mean the Bears. I mean they pushed my team, the Patriots, to the limit, and we're basically inches away, thanks to a Hail Mary attempt from possibly tying it and sending it into overtime. So yeah, I mean the Jets are basically banged up. So to me, I got to go with the Chicago Bears to win this one. I'm going to say my final score is going to be 24 to 14 is going to be my final score. So yeah, nothing more to say. Let's just move right along to the next game on the docket.
And you will take that one. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers squaring off against the Cincinnati Bengals at Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati. This game will be on Fox with Chris Myers, Daryl Moose Johnston, and Laura Oakman. Cincinnati opening up as 3.5 to 4-point favorites. Tampa Bay leads the all-time series 7-4. Their last meeting was 2014 in Tampa, and the Bengals won that one 14-13, snapping a six-game losing streak to Tampa. Tampa had beaten Cincinnati 6 consecutive meetings prior to 2014. Last meeting, the last time Tampa Bay won was 2010 in Cincinnati. That was the last time they met in Cincinnati. Buccaneers won that 24-21. Cincinnati Bengals have not beaten the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home since all the way back in 1989. 56-23 beatdown. You remember that was when some guy named Boomer Esiason was leading the team, and as I recall, that team was damn good back then. Ickey Woods, Anthony Munoz, you know that team. So that was the year after they went to that epic Super Bowl 23 against the Niners where they came up just short. So, all right, Bullock, Cincinnati, they got pounded. They got pounded big time by the Kansas City Chiefs. It was a combination of a Braun Strowman and Ryback and Rusev type squash to me.
Oh yeah, especially against a team like the Chiefs, who were probably pissed after losing to the Patriots in heartbreaking fashion, and yeah, they came out and rolled over the Bengals. And the Bengals, I mean, what's going on with them? I mean, they were off to a 4-1 start, and now they're losers of 2 in a row. I mean, coming off a crushing loss to the Steelers, and then the shellacking of the at the hands of the Kansas City Chiefs. The Bengals do return home against a Buccaneers team that has struggled. I mean, the Bengals, I mean, against the Chiefs, they managed just 239 total yards in the game. And on defense, they gave up 551 yards. And it's the most yards the team has allowed since 2007. I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, the offense, I mean, it seems like it's gone into a downward spiral. I mean, because, of course, we already know Tyler Eifert lost to a season-ending knee injury, and running back Giovanni Bernard, who has a knee injury, and according to reports, he looks like he may miss his 4th straight game. So he's going to, Andy Dalton's going to have to rely on A.J. Green. I mean, but they're also going to have to rely on Tyler Boyd and John Ross to really help out here. So, yeah, and of course the defense has to really step it up with Vontaze Burfict. But, yeah, I mean, I got to go with the Cincinnati Bengals here. The Tampa Bay Bucks have been struggling, so I just have no faith in them. I got the Bengals winning this one. I'm going to say my final score is going to be 34-17 is going to be my final score. So nothing more to say. Florio, I mean, I see the Bengals bouncing back in a big way. What says you?
I agree. I got Cincinnati winning as well. Andy Dalton and the Bengals are averaging over 26 points a game and have a multi-dimensional attack. The Bucs are missing 2 starters in their secondary and Pro Bowl middle linebacker Quan Alexander, along with possibly Gerald McCoy and Vinny Curry for another week. Plus, the Bucs offense turned the ball over 4 times last week against the Browns. It's hard to imagine the Bengals putting up a subpar effort after getting destroyed by the Chiefs last Sunday night. The Bengals clearly have their issues, but they're not as bad as the team that got blown out by the Chiefs last Sunday night. The Bengals have a long injury list, and the Buccaneers have a good offense, so it'll probably be a high-scoring game. However, the Bengals offense should be able to rebound at home in what the team has called a quote-unquote gut check week. Cincinnati, according to the FPI, 65% favorite. This game could feature lots of offense. According to FPI, both teams rank in the top 10 in offensive efficiency and bottom 10 in defensive efficiency this season. And both teams are in the bottom 10 in opponent total QBR. Cincinnati wins. My final score, 33-27. Cincinnati over Tampa Bay. So, move on to our next matchup. A matchup of, here's another sleeper matchup. A lot of sleeper games this week. Here's another one. The Seattle Seahawks squaring off against the Detroit Lions from Ford Field in Detroit. This game will be on Fox. And we will have Kevin Kugler from the Big Ten Network. He'll be working this game along with Rondé Barber, Chris Spielman, and Shannon Spake. Lions opening up as 3-point favorites. Series history favors Seattle 8-5. Their last meeting was a playoff game. It was the NFC wildcard playoff about a year or so ago. I think it was in January of 2017. Seattle won that 26-6 in Seattle. Last regular season meeting was in 2015. Seattle won 13-10 in Seattle. Last meeting in Detroit was 2012. Lions won that one 28-24. Seattle's last win in Detroit was in 2006. A 9-6 final. That's a game that Michael Fletcher would be proud of because you know how much he loves his defensive battles. But nonetheless, the Seahawks and Lions have taken the same path to get to 3-3, each winning 3 of their last 4 with the help of resurgent rushing attacks, and none of the standard statistical categories suggest that either has an obvious advantage. But Football Outsiders DVOA ratings suggest the Seahawks are the better team, ranking them 10th and the Lions 28th. Plus, the Seahawks are coming off a bye and are as healthy as they've been all season, with linebacker KJ Wright and tight end Ed Dickson set to make their 2018 debuts. The Lions improved their run defense this week by trading for Damon Harrison and filled the biggest need on the roster, and it couldn't come at a better time facing Seattle and Chris Carson. The man they call Snacks makes the difference for Detroit, as Kerryon Johnson, maybe he gains another 100 yards, who knows. According to the FPI, Seattle, a 57.5% favorite. Russell Wilson has a 48.5 total QBR this season, which would be the worst in a season in his career. He goes on the road this week to face a Lion team that ranks 3rd worst in defensive efficiency, according to FPI. And because of that, I have to give the slight edge to Seattle here. I'm going to go with Seattle to win this game. My final score, 26-23, Seattle over Detroit. So nothing more to say. Bullock, your thoughts on Seattle and Detroit at Ford Field?
Yeah, and excuse me. Yeah, this could definitely be a sleeper game here with the Seahawks and Lions here. I mean, who did you go with, Florio?
I went with Seattle 26-23.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta go with the Seahawks in this one. I think they will have a slight edge here. I mean, I just think they're a little bit better than the Detroit Lions here. I'm gonna go Seattle wins 27-24 is going to be my final score. So, yeah, I mean, there's really nothing more that needs to be said. So let's just move right along to our next game.
And it's a divisional matchup. It's one we've already seen this year. It was a thrilling one over in Denver, but it was the Chiefs who came away with the win, as I recall. So it's the Denver Broncos squaring off against the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. This one is over on CBS. Kevin Harlan, Rich Gannon, Steve Tasker will have it. Kansas City opening up as 8.5 to 10-point favorites. I'm not surprised by that number at the least. And I don't remember what the final score was, but I do remember Kansas City coming out of Denver with a win on a Monday night game some time ago. So that takes Kansas City's overall lead in the regular season series to 62 to 54. And let me look at all this here. Okay. Chiefs have now won 6 in a row against the Broncos. And yeah, the Broncos have not won an Arrowhead since 2015, the Super Bowl year. That was a 31-24 win. But the Chiefs have won the last 2 meetings at home against Denver, including last year 29-19 and then 33-10 on Christmas night in 2016. So I do believe we have all the schematics out of the way. So Bullock, Denver, Kansas City, one of our top. Usually this would be one of our top games of the week. It is one of our top games of the week, but I can't quite call it the game of the week though on our side. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the way Kansas City looked last week, beating up on the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, yeah, the Denver Broncos definitely gave them a run for their money in the that Monday night matchup in Denver, but that was in Denver. This one here is going to be in one of the loudest stadiums in the NFL, in Arrowhead Stadium. So, yeah, I just don't see how Denver is going to be able to hang around here this time around. I'm going to say Kansas City wins. I'm going to say my final score is going to be 38-17. Kansas City wins and improves to 7-1. So, Florio, I give it to you.
All right, let me see what I have here. For 3 quarters in their first meeting this season, the Broncos pressured Patrick Mahomes extremely well. In the fourth quarter, Mahomes got loose and the Chiefs erased the Broncos' 10-point lead to get the win. How effective Denver is in getting pressure on Mahomes will determine how this goes. Von Miller and Bradley Chubb have combined for 8.5 sacks, as well as 3 forced fumbles in the past 3 games. The Broncos' best chance is Miller and Chubb adding to those totals, while the Broncos' offense runs the ball well enough to keep the Chiefs' offense on the sideline. Chiefs have beaten the Broncos 6 consecutive times, scoring at least 27 points in each of those games, but the Broncos are likely to need 30 or more points to win. But they won't get there. The Chiefs are allowing only 17 points a game at Arrowhead this season against opponents with more offensive capability than the Broncos. So I'm going with Kansas City to win. My final score, 34-20, Kansas City over Denver. So nothing really more to say on that one. So get into our next matchup here. And it's an NFC East division battle with the Washington Redskins squaring off against the New York Giants at Life Stadium in the Meadowlands, East Rutherford, New Jersey. And this one over on Fox. And calling that game for Fox will be Kenny Albert, once again sitting in for Kevin Burkhardt, while Kevin Burkhardt is doing the World Series coverage on Fox. He'll be with Kevin Burkhardt's crew of Charles Davis and Pam Oliver once again. Redskins opening up as 1 to 1.5 point favorites. Series history favors the Giants 99-67 with 4 ties. Both teams split last year, both teams winning at home. So that meant the Giants won in New York 18-10. Redskins' last win in New York, I should say, was the year before in 2016. That was a 29-27 win for the Redskins in the Meadowlands. So I believe I start this one off. So,
well, before you do, Florio, I got an update. We are going to extra innings in Game 3 of the World Series with the score still tied at 1.
Somehow that's what I thought. So, yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye on that. So,
yeah, and we got Mitch Moreland, JD Martinez, and Brock Holt due up in the top of the 10th. So we'll see how that translates.
After, two so-so games in Boston, we go to Los Angeles and we not only get a pitcher's duel, but we also get as of right now, we're looking at a 5-star Shakespearean drama classic here. So far the game of the series right here. So, all right. Getting back to this, Redskins and Giants, the matchup here. The Redskins have held Christian McCaffrey and Ezekiel Elliott to a combined 54 yards rushing in the last 2 weeks. They're well equipped to handle the Giants' run game and Saquon Barkley. The key will be stopping Barkley in the Giants' 3 receiver packages as he averages 5.13 yards a carry from this look. The Redskins take care of the ball and make teams put together long drives. The Redskins are in the top 7 in scoring defense, 20.2 points a game, and total defense. It's hard to imagine the Giants' offense, which averages 19.6 points a game, does much more Sunday afternoon against Washington. They are still struggling badly to sustain consistent offense, and that's not going to change in this one. It also won't help that their defense just lost 2 starters. Yes, the Giants are a 57.9% favorite according to the FBI, but the 1-6 Giants, yes, they are favored to win this game by the FBI, something that will not be said very often the rest of the season. After this game, the Giants are favored to win just twice by FBI, but nonetheless, I'm going with the Washington Redskins to win this game. My final score, 21-17, Washington over the Giants. Nothing more to say. So, Bullet, come on in. Redskins and Giants in the Meadowlands. Who you got?
Yeah, and like you said, the Redskins, defense, they need to slow down Saquon Barkley, and they definitely need to get some pressure on Eli Manning. I think they'll be able to do all that. So there's really nothing more to say. I got the Redskins winning this one. My final score is going to be, I'm going to go 30 to 20 is going to be my final score. So yeah, there's nothing more to say. Let's just move right along for you.
And we move on to another second time division matchup. The first one these two had was one of the best games of the year. It was on opening day, and they played to a tie. I'm talking about the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers, Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. This one will be over on CBS with Ian Eagle, Dan Fouts, and Evan Washburn. The Steelers opening up as 8-point favorites. Series history favors the Pittsburgh Steelers, but it's now 72-58 with a tie. Of course, we all know when that tie came. That was back on opening day of this year in Cleveland. Going back, the Steelers had won 6 in a row against the Browns before that tie in week 1. Browns haven't beaten the Steelers since 2014 in Cleveland. That was a 31-10 win. And believe it or not, the Cleveland Browns have not won in Pittsburgh since all the way back in 2003. And I believe that was a Sunday night game, as I recall correctly. Cleveland pounded Pittsburgh on that Sunday night, 33-13. But every year since then, it has been all Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. So that's the series history there. So I believe it's I believe it is you, Bullock.
Yeah, it is me.
Browns and Steelers played to a tie in week 1 in Cleveland. Are we going to get another tie, or are we going to get a decisive winner here? And if we get a decisive winner, who wins it here? I mean, remember, keep in mind, Cleveland has not won in Pittsburgh since a Sunday night in 2003.
Yeah, I don't see another tie coming here. I think this time around we're going to get a decisive winner, and the Browns. I mean, not the Browns. The Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, they're not going to. They're going to take the Browns seriously this time because, I mean, the Browns, they hung around with them, and Cleveland had a chance to pull off the upset, but Zane Gonzalez had that his 43-yard field goal attempt was blocked, and ever since then he was waived. So, and Pittsburgh has been sort of so-so, but who knows? They could definitely continue on in the right direction here with Ben Roethlisberger. James Conner's continued to play well in the running game, but who knows? Maybe Cleveland will continue to hang around. So, but in the end, I gotta go with the Pittsburgh Steelers to win this one. I'm gonna say my final score is gonna be 34, 34-20. Pittsburgh beats Cleveland. So nothing more to say. Florio, I give it to you.
Is this the week the Browns offense gets on track? Unlikely. The Steelers are coming off a bye. It is the time of year they usually start to get into form, and they have Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown. The Browns have not won at Heinz Field since 2003, and that streak will not end Sunday. The Steelers know they outplayed the Browns in the Week 1 tie, but let 5 turnovers flip the game. They want to correct that error at Heinz Field, where they've won 14 straight over Cleveland. The Steelers are sluggish coming off a bye, losing 3 of their past 4 after the extended break, but they also have a 20-4 record against rookie quarterbacks since 2004. According to the FPI, Pittsburgh, 88% favorite. They are the biggest favorite of the week with an 88% chance to win, according to the FPI. The biggest favorite the Steelers have been in a divisional game in their data set since the start of the 2008 season, the 3rd biggest overall. So I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers to win this one, 30-20, Pittsburgh over Cleveland. So nothing more to say. Let's move on now to the late matchups. We started off with, without a doubt, the Zonk game of the week on our side of the ledger. Matter of fact, the next 2 games are the 2 Zonk games of the week. Oh boy. First on our side, 4:05 kickoff on CBS. The Indianapolis Colts squaring off against the Oakland Raiders at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum, aka the Black Hole in Oakland. This one will be over on CBS with Andrew Catalan, James Lofton, and Amanda Balionis on the call for that. Indianapolis opening up as 3-point favorites. Raiders lead the all-time series 8-6. Their last meeting, we all remember it very well, Christmas Eve 2016. Raiders won that one 33-25, but that win came with a price because that's the game where Derek Carr broke his leg and completely changed the complexion of their season. Because if it wasn't for that, who knows how far the Raiders could have gone that year. They could have gone far. They really could have. They were that good. That snapped a 4-game losing streak to the Colts. Colts last win over the Raiders was 2013 in Indianapolis, 21-17. Colts last win in Oakland was in 2010, a 31-26 win. So, all right, let's get to this first Zonk game of the week. The last time the Colts were in Oakland, Christmas Eve 2016. The Raiders were looked at as one of the top teams in the AFC before Derek Carr broke his leg. Things haven't been the same since for the Raiders. They're only 7-17 and have traded away linebacker Khalil Mack and receiver Amari Cooper, 2 key pieces to the franchise. The Colts are coming off their best performance of the season, and quarterback Andrew Luck is 2nd in the league in touchdowns with 20. The shock of the Raiders' trade of Cooper to the Cowboys has yet to subside in Oakland, with only 8 of general manager Reggie McKenzie's 50 pre-John Gruden draft picks on the 53-man roster. Players are looking over their shoulders. That's not a good recipe against a Colts team that looks reborn with a healthy Andrew Luck at quarterback. Yes, the natives in the Black Hole are restless and confused, and after Sunday, angry. Oakland, 50.9% favorite. They're slight favorites at home, but are one of just 2 teams, the 49ers in the bottom 10 in both offensive, 10th worst, and defensive efficiency, 4th worst this season. According to FPI, after losing Marshawn Lynch to injury and trading Amari Cooper, they may become the only team in the bottom 5 of both. Indianapolis Colts will win this game. My final score, 34-16. Indy over Oakland. Nothing more to say. So, Bullock, our Zonk game of the week, Colts and Raiders. How about it?
Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be the Zonk game of the week here. No doubt about it. Yeah, both teams are not going in the right direction. I mean, this is one that certainly I don't think anybody's going to be looking forward to. So I'm just going to make it short and sweet. I got the Colts winning this one. My final score 21-17. Nothing more to say. Florida, let's move right along.
And we move on to our 425 kickoff and our other Zonk game of the week. This one over on the NFC side of the ledger. A matchup of the San Francisco 49ers and the Arizona Cardinals at the University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. Fox will have this one with Dick Stockton, Mark Schlereth, and Jennifer Hale. We have San Francisco opening up as 1.5-point favorites. 49ers lead the all-time series. Hang on here. Arizona. This is another second-time division matchup. They met just a few weeks ago in San Francisco, and Arizona won that game, as I recall. So San Francisco's all-time series lead has been cut. It's now 29-25 San Francisco, with Arizona's win in San Fran a few weeks ago. And 2, 4, 6. It's now 7 straight wins for the Cardinals over the 49ers. And 49ers, last one in Arizona. Got to go back to, let me see, that would be 2013. 2013, the last time the 49ers won in Arizona, 23-20. Cardinals won the last meeting there, 18-15 in overtime last year. So,
Florio, sorry to interrupt. We got a situation here. The Red Sox now have runners at first and third with one out in the top of the 10th. So we could be on the verge of the Red Sox taking the lead.
We could be. So, but I got all the schematics out of the way. So, Bullock, let's get a quick thought from you on San Francisco and Arizona.
Yeah, I'm just going to make it short and sweet here. I'm going to go with the 49ers to win this one. My final score 14-10. Nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
Keep in mind, Bullock, the 49ers lost to this same Arizona team at home just 3 weeks ago in a game they dominated statistically, but handed to the Cardinals with 5 turnovers. Turnover differential has remained the biggest problem plaguing the Niners since Jimmy Garoppolo was lost for the season. The Cardinals are coming off a bye with a new offensive coordinator, but the Niners likely won't turn it over 5 times again and could be able to coax Josh Rosen into a takeaway or two that will end their 7-game losing streak to Arizona. Changes come into the Cardinal offense, and it might catch a team off guard. Byron Leftwich takes over as offensive coordinator in the wake of Mike McCoy's firing, which means more of David Johnson in the game plan. There's one game where the Cardinals can spring an offensive explosion on somebody. It's this one, because the Niners won't be able to key in on Leftwich's tendencies. Yes, San Francisco is a 55.2% favorite, and this game between 2-1-6 teams has a big impact on the race for the number 1 overall draft pick. According to the FPI, the Cardinals are the overwhelming favorite for the top pick, 55% chance, and would see their chances climb to 71% with another loss. Cardinal win would make things interesting, dropping them to 35% and upping the 49ers to 25%. But nonetheless, I'm going with the Arizona Cardinals to win this one. I'm going to say 28-17 Arizona over San Francisco for the second time in a month. Now we move on to what Fox calls America's Game of the Week. And oh boy, we got a beauty here. Oh, we're going to have some fun with this one. The Green Bay Packers squaring off against the Los Angeles Rams in the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum on Fox, 4:25 kickoff. Tom Brenneman sitting in for Joe Buck, along with Troy Aikman and Aaron Andrews. The Rams opening up as 8.5 to 9-point favorites. And the series history between these two, it is tied 45-45 with 2 ties. Their last meeting was 2015 in Green Bay. Packers won 24-10. Matter of fact, Bullock, the Packers have won each of the last 5 meetings against the Rams. Rams haven't beaten the Packers since 2006 when they came out of Green Bay with a win. Their last meeting in Los Angeles, you got to go all the way back to 1991. The Rams won that 23-21. Packers. I don't know if the Packers have ever won in Los Angeles before. I'm looking into that right now. Yes, they have. And the last time they did it, oh boy, you got to go all the way back to 1966. That was a 27-23 win. So, but the Packers last won at the Rams in 2012. That was a 30-20 win at the old TWA Dome in St. Louis. So, all right, just give me okay. So now I get to start off on Fox's Game of the Week. Mike McCarthy is 9-3 coming off the bye week, including 9-2 with Aaron Rodgers as his starter. Even if Rodgers doesn't shed the brace he's worn since his opening week knee injury against Chicago, he'll be rested with a week off. This is the kind of shootout game that Rodgers might relish, given the way he's directed game-winning drives this season. He's never been a bigger underdog in his career as a starter, which, if they should win, would make this one of his bigger wins. The Rams are coming off their best defensive performance yet, behind 4 takeaways and 7 sacks against the 49ers, and just in time to face the rested Rodgers and the Packers. Containing the 2-time MVP will be key, and Marcus Peters pointed to the defensive back's ability to cover their man for more than 3 seconds. Rams, 79.8% favorite, just about an 80% favorite. They're the overwhelming favorite in this game, according to FPI, a very rare occurrence for anyone against the Packers. FPI gives the Rams an 80% chance to win. Only once in their data set since the start of the 2008 season has a team been a bigger favorite over the Packers. That was the Steelers in Week 12 of last season when the Packers had Brett Hundley at quarterback. But nonetheless, I'm going with the St. Louis Rams to win this game, or I should say the Los Angeles Rams. I don't know what I got St. Louis on my mind for a moment. Los Angeles Rams. You know how high I am on them. I think they'll beat the Packers 32-28. The Rams, LA Rams, over the Green Bay Packers. I think it's going to be a 5-star Shakespearean drama shootout in the Coliseum, and I can't wait to see it. So, nothing more to say. So, Bullock, your thoughts on America's Game of the Week, the Packers and the Rams in the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum?
Well, I just got some breaking news, and we're going to the bottom of the 10th, but still tied because we had a fly ball to center field from Eduardo Nunez, but Ian Kinsler gets thrown out at home. But getting back to this, I mean, yeah, this is Fox's game, America's Game of the Week here, and yeah, the Green Bay Packers. I mean, they face a really tough test against a Rams team that right now looks like to be unstoppable. I mean, that offense is on fire. The defense continues to play really well. I mean, you got the veteran Aaron Rodgers against the young man Jared Goff. So, yeah, there's there's really nothing more to say. I mean, I just think I'm gonna go with the Los Angeles Rams to win this one. I'm gonna say 38-31 is gonna be my final score. So, yeah, there's nothing more to say. Let's move right along, and I think it's Sunday Night Football.
You get to lead it off, Bullock. Oh boy, a rematch of one of the greatest NFC divisional playoff games in history. I'll say it like this: one of the greatest games with the greatest ending you will ever see to a playoff game. And I still consider it to this day the greatest call of Joe Buck's career, without a doubt. The divisional matchup coming up here, well, divisional rematch rather. The New Orleans Saints squaring off against the Minnesota Vikings at US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, over on NBC. Sunday Night Football, you know who's working it. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya, and I believe I saw New Orleans. Is it New Orleans? Yes, New Orleans opening up as 1.5-point favorites. And series history favors the Minnesota Vikings 19-10. They met week 1 They met on the first Monday Night Football game of last year. That was a 29-19 win for Minnesota at home. And then, of course, the epic playoff game 4 months later. And that snapped a 4-game losing streak, including the playoffs, to the Saints. Saints last won in Minnesota in 2011. That was a 42-20 win. Their last overall win against the Vikings was in 2014. That was a 20-9 win. So I believe we have all the schematics out of the way. So Bullock, you started off. Last time we saw these two, the Minneapolis Miracle. Case Keenum, 61 yards. Stephon Diggs. I'll meet you, Mike Bullock. Case Keenum, 61 yards. Stephon Diggs, you know the rest. Greatest call of Joe Buck's career, hands down.
Yeah, I mean that was that was definitely a 5-star classic there, and yeah, I mean Joe Buck going crazy, greatest call ever from him. I mean, look, say what you want about Joe Buck. I know he's got a lot of haters out there, but you gotta love that call of that ending. But yeah, I mean, New Orleans is gonna be. They want redemption after that heartbreaker in the divisional round earlier this year. So yeah, I mean, but this time they're gonna be. They have to deal. That Saints defense has to deal with Kirk Cousins. I mean Drew Brees. I mean you got Michael Thomas. You got Alvin Kamara, and of course you got Mark Ingram back. So yeah, I mean, yeah, and now of course Vikings corner Xavier Rhodes is going to have to deal with trying to slow down Michael Thomas here, but of course the cornerbacks they got to deal with Adam Thielen with the season he's been having so far. So I expect this to be another good one here, but I think this time around, I think the Saints will win this one, get some payback. I'm going to say 31-28 is going to be my final score. So, Florio, I give it to you.
Yeah. Oh, man. I mean, that game, wow. Like I said, the greatest ending to a playoff game you will ever see. But here we go. It's hard to pick against the Saints because even if they start slow, they finish so strong. According to ESPN Stats and Info, their 88 points in the fourth quarter / overtime this year are the most through the first 6 games of a season since 2002. They just came back from a 17-7 deficit at Baltimore in the fourth quarter last Sunday. Still, the Saints' 5-game win streak has to end sometime. If the Vikings want to notch their 3rd consecutive win over the Saints, they'll have to beat the king of the fourth quarter comeback, Drew Brees. With Xavier Rhodes' status for Sunday's game in question, the Vikings may have to rely on rookie cornerback Holton Hill to start in his place. But in the end, Kirk Cousins, Adam Thielen, and defensive dominance on 3rd down wins out. Minnesota, a 56% favorite. Can the Vikings defense slow down the Saints offense? Minnesota has the best defensive efficiency at home this season at 88.2 on a 0 to 100 scale. Interestingly, the Saints offensive efficiency is slightly higher on the road, 80.7, than at home, 74.9 this season. Minnesota Vikings win. I say my final score. I will go. Oh, this is a tough one. I'm trying to think what would be a good score for this one. I definitely have Minnesota winning. I agree with you, Bullock. I believe you have Minnesota as well. Let me see.
No, I had New Orleans winning.
I have New Orleans winning. Well, then for the first time tonight, we disagree. I got Minnesota winning. Minnesota wins, I will say, I'll go 27-24. 27-24, Minnesota over New Orleans. I expect another Shakespearean drama classic on that one, without a doubt. All right. Final game of the week. Main event time in my and Bullock's eyes. Because it's the Buddy Bowl. Once again, here we go. It's Monday Night Football. The New England Patriots squaring off against the Buffalo Bills at New Era Field in Buffalo on ESPN. You know who's working this as always: Joe Tessitore, Jason Witten, Booger McFarland, Lisa Salters. They will be on the call. In New England, opening up as the biggest favorite of the week, 13.5 to 14-point spread for New England. And rightfully so. New England leads the all-time series 71 to 43 with a tie. And since pretty much the 2000s, it has been all New England against Buffalo. And New England's won the last 3 meetings. Of course, they swept last year. New England winning in Buffalo 23 to 3. And Patriots have won the last 6 meetings in Buffalo. The Patriots, well, I should say the Bills, have not beaten the Patriots at home since back in week 3 of 2011. I'll never forget it. It was one of the greatest games I ever saw. Buffalo won that 34-31. So that's the last time the Bills have beaten the Patriots at home. Of course, Buffalo got 2 wins in Foxborough in 2014 and 2016. So, all right. Patriots haven't played a game this season without committing a turnover, and that is the Bills' best hope at pulling the upset, similar to what they did in Minnesota earlier this season. In the end, the Patriots' offensive firepower should be enough against an underwhelming Bills attack in a game that could be closer than many anticipate. Bills' offense has scored more than 20 points in only 1 game this season, while the Patriots' offense has scored fewer than 20 points only once. It's going to take either an outlier performance from either of those units or scoring from Buffalo's defense or special teams for the Bills to pull off an upset. Other than a high snap to Andrew Luck last Sunday that went for a safety, neither the Bills' defense nor special teams have scored this season. FPI projection, New England heavy favorite, 83.4%. Bills have a 23.8 total QBR as a team this season, by far the lowest in the league. Since QBR was first tracked in 2006, only 5 teams have posted a lower total QBR in a season and none since 2012. 34-17, New England, and New England's dominance over Buffalo, unfortunately for this long-suffering Bills fan, will continue. Much to your delight, Bullock, so I know who you have, but just put me out of my misery here.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Patriots to win this one. My final score, it is going to be I'm going to go around the same score, 34-17. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to say. Let's just move right along to the power rankings.
And I'll take it for a spin. I know you'll agree with me on everything, so let's just get into it. Honorable mention, Green Bay Packers. I'll just leave it at that. So let's get into the top 10. Number 10, Carolina Panthers. Impressive comeback against Philly. It might be the game that gets them back looking like a real contender. Number 9, Washington Redskins. Leaders in the NFC East, and that defense is suffocating at times. The offense does need to pick it up a bit. Number 8, Minnesota Vikings. 3 straight victories has this team rolling. The defense is getting back to being what we expected to see. Number 7, Pittsburgh Steelers. They come off their bye in first place in the NFC North, which is stunning after the way they started this season with all that turmoil because of Le'Veon Bell. Number 6, their division rival, the Baltimore Ravens. Tough way to lose a game against the Ravens with Justin Tucker missing his first extra point. Now they have a tough turnaround at Carolina. Number 5, Los Angeles Chargers. They've won 4 straight games to put that 1-2 start a long way in the rearview mirror. Phillip Rivers has been outstanding. Number 4, Kansas City Chiefs. Can they be stopped on offense? It sure doesn't look like it. That offense is unreal, especially Patrick Mahomes. Number 3, New England Patriots. They needed 2 special teams touchdowns to beat Chicago, but that's what they do. Here come the Pats. Number 2, New Orleans Saints. Impressive road victory against the Ravens. Clearly the second best team in the NFC, but face a tough road game at Minnesota on Sunday night. Number 1, of course, it is the Los Angeles Rams. How long will they go without losing the game? The way they are playing, it's going to be a long time. So, LA Rams close it out. So, that will put a bow on this edition of NFL Friday. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. So, Bullock, if you don't have any World Series updates, let's get into your shout-outs real quick.
And not up to this point. So,
All right.
yeah, of course, shout-outs to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to support our shows, whether it's this, of course, any of our wrestling shows. We thank you all so very much for tuning in, as always. And a quick update here. The game continues as we go to the 11th. So, yeah, continuing with my shout-outs, of course. Shout-outs to all of our super fans out there. You guys know who you are. To all of our friends from our high school days, you guys know who you are. To all of our local news personalities from 610 and 12. Of course, from ESPN, Fox Sports, MLB Network, NFL Network, NHL Network, NBA TV, all the other networks out there. Of course, to our friend for the Road Show, former co-host Mary Larson and Megan Mooney, and of course, Will, Brendan, and Michaela. So, yeah, there's really nothing more that needs to be said. There's really nothing more that needs to be said. So, until excuse me, until tomorrow for our historic night, our preview of the WWE Evolution special, the all women's pay-per-views. This is Mike Bullock saying thank you all so very much for tuning in. Of course, you know the routine. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it a porch and pour style. Bye for now. Enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy all the college football action. So, nothing more to say. Florio, take us home.
Yes, we'll do, Bullock, and I'll have more on that Evolution show in just a moment. So, but anyways, special shout out to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to make our shows as over as they are. We appreciate it as always. Best fans in the world. You've heard us say it time and time again. Of course, special shout outs to Dee Dee Woodson, Kevin Woodson and the Woodson family, Matt Ward, Jason Hicksonbar, Daniel Lachelle from the UK, First Ladies, Kaiser Butler, Megan Silva, and Lexi Calloway, the crew members, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, Albert Richardson, and Bob Parsons, and of course, good old MF Michael Fletcher. I don't know what happened to him tonight. I don't know if it was work commitments beyond his control or if he ended up having plans. I don't know. But shout out to him, anywho. And of course, Derek Ferreira as well, our Imperial Grand Poobah as always. And all of our personalities from 6, 10, and 12. And me. Along with our friends over at ESPN, FS1, NFL Network, MLB Network, NHL Network, NBA TV. Lindsay McCormick, Status Sorrell, Chantel McCabe from the Golf Channel, our friends on the Road Show, Will Gilbert, Brendan Kirby, and Michaela Johnson, and the former co-hosts Megan Mooney and Mary Larson. And last but certainly not least, my wonderful friends and family my wonderful friends and church family, rather, at Oasis Grace Ministries on 464 Silver Spring Street in Providence. If you need a church home, check them out, exit 25 off Route 95. Sunday morning at 9, Bible study. A little after 10, the Sunday morning service. Wednesday night at 7, Bible study. Other things going on. And that's it for that. Now then, tomorrow, 10 p.m. 10 p.m. is the start time. Bullock, I hope that's good for you.
It's good for me.
Good. 10 p.m. tomorrow night. Very special show. We are going to be previewing the first ever all-women's WWE pay-per-view Evolution. A very special host in the form of the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, the Twisted Angel, Dee Dee Woodson. She's going to be hosting alongside myself, Michael Bullock. Unfortunately, MF will be out of that show too. But we do have two very special guest panelists joining us. One of them you already know by heart, that of course being Derek Ferreira. One of the rare times he joins us. And an extra special guest panelist making her forum debut, the one and only Elizabeth Decker. Looking forward to working with her the next couple of nights. And then Sunday night, a little after the pay-per-view, it'll be our Evolution recap. Once again, Dee Dee Woodson will be hosting that. All of us will be on that as well. MF should be there for that one. So, and keep in mind, the Evolution preview will be right here on this channel, the Tone 25, with Dee Dee hosting. And the recap will be over on MF's channel, BraceFan95, also with Didi hosting. Just want to remind you all on that. And then Monday night, immediately following Monday Night Raw, we have Ridiculously Raw. We started all the fallout from Evolution, and this is the Raw Go Home show for Crown Jewel. Of course, the big story we all know, the shocking heel turn of Dean Ambrose. We saw what happened Monday night on Raw. Perhaps the most craziest ending to a Monday Night Raw in history. We were all there in Providence to see it. What will be the fallout in Charlotte? We'll find out. And of course, my Tony's take on 205 Live and Impact Wrestling as usual. And then Tuesday night, Cerebral Smack Talk. Hopefully Tuesday night. It's either Tuesday or Wednesday. Nonetheless, it'll be the Cerebral Smack Talk with MF over on Brace Bay 95 SmackDown Live. Maybe some Lucha Underground stuff. We'll see. Other Mikey's Mindset stuff. And then College Football Thursday, headlined by the game of the week next week, Alabama and LSU in prime time. Maybe the game of the year so far. Cannot wait to get into that one. And then join us again next week for NFL Friday, week 9. Some good matchups. Of course, the headline game next week, the Green Bay Packers and the New England Patriots at Gillette Stadium, Sunday Night Football, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. I smell a 5-star shootout in that one. And on top of that, we also have the Steelers and the Ravens to look forward to as well. So, and some other great matchups next week. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for our Evolution preview show with Didi Woodson, it's myself, it's Anthony Florio, along Anthony Florio here for Michael Bullock, and in spirit, the aforementioned Didi Woodson, good old MF Michael Fletcher, Derek Ferrera, you know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up, talk to you later. Yeah, Lord of Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Saturday. Enjoy all the college football action. Until tomorrow night for that big Evolution preview show with Didi Woodson, you've been watching Week 8, Strictly Sports NFL Friday, right here on the Tone 25 and YouTube.com. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.